You are listening to episode 52 of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Welcome to the Peaceful Mind Podcast, a place for creating the peace of mind you need to be the best mom you are created by God to be. If you want to bring more balance, more joy, and more peace to your motherhood, this is the place for you. I'm your host, certified life coach and Catholic mom, Danielle Tino. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, let's get started. Hi there, beautiful moms out there. I am coming to you during the week of getting my kids all set and ready back to school. I'm not sure what part of the country or what part of the world that you are listening from, because where I live, school starts back in August, right? So here we are in August already, and there's just so much to do, right? To prepare our kids for school, things to buy, books to get, uniforms or outfits, and just making sure we have everything we need. So I thought this week that I would give a perspective or a spin on where you might be thinking about all that you have to do. I know that it's very familiar to talk about a to-do list, but what I have to share with you really is what shifted my perspective in such a profound way in how I view my to-do list, and more so the results that I'm creating, or, what I'm getting done, what I'm actually getting done. Because you can put something on your list, and it can just stay there and sit there, and it's not actually done. Or maybe you'll do just a few things towards getting the item done. But where I want you to focus on, wherever you are in your life, whether it's getting your kids ready for school or something else that just has you believing and thinking, oh, I have that project, or I want to get that done, and I've been meaning to do X, Y, and Z. I want to offer a process, and it's simple, and I've tried to make it more simple through alliteration, because everything that I'm going to have you do is going to be starting with the letter P. And hopefully this will help you remember when the next time you find yourself not getting things done that you want to do. So before I get into what that process is, this is where I want you to come from, that maybe you haven't thought about in this way before. Because here on the Peaceful Mind Podcast, it's always about thinking differently, right? Because thinking and our mindset and what we're choosing to have our brain focus on and think and believe is what creates every single result that we have in our life. Yes, it is so powerful. In fact, that is our personal human power. It comes from our thinking and our brain. So the twist that I'm mentioning has to do with looking at your projects, or quote, your to-do list, as results instead of something that you want to try to get done or attempt to do. What you label on your list, or let's even take it to when you put something on your calendar. Let's put it in a way, meaning word it in a way, or speak about it in a way that it's already done, as if the result has been created. So here's for an example. You may have a to-do list that says the following: clean the bathroom, go to the store and buy school shoes, call mom, send birthday card to Sarah. And what I'm asking you to do is, instead of wording it that way or thinking about it that way in your mind, we want to then put it down as if it is a result that has already happened, as if it's already been completed. So if we take the list that I just mentioned, the first one, clean the bathroom, you would write it down on your list, or especially on your calendar, where it says bathroom cleaned, and then go to the store and buy school shoes. We could put it down as school shoes purchased. Call mom. And this one is just a little tweak, but it still matters. We would write down called mom. And then the last example, send birthday card to Sarah. We would put Sarah's birthday card sent. It is something that has really just kind of just 180'd and really up-leveled what I am producing, because anything that has our brain going to the place of finished and already done will set us up to feeling more in a way to actually take the actions to getting them done. And I have found that I have become so much more fruitful in my life. I have created so many more results and just had more forward momentum and really just have been getting a lot more done and just watching my productivity soar by this one small tweak. And again, what that tweak is that I'm offering that you can try in your mom life right now, and maybe especially at this busy back to school time, is when you want to be more productive. Instead of looking or thinking as things as in progress or that you want to do or trying to get done, let's just tweak and kind of sort of trick our brain into going to the place where it's already done and completed. So we can talk about it that way. Our brain can see it on paper as if it's completed. And even when we are on our calendar, when the notification comes that it's time to do something, you know that in that time, that is when you are going to complete it. And so there's a little process that I came up with. And again, I mentioned it. It all starts with a P. And if you have a chance to grab a piece of paper and pen, I am thinking that this would be the time. But this little process has helped me be so more fruitful in my life. And this is the first one. The first one is to prioritize, right? When you sit down to give some thought to what is wanting to be your list of results for the coming week, we want to first, get it all out. We want to do what I call a thought download, and really just take everything that's swirling in your head and get it down on paper so we can take a look at it. So it becomes a solid thing instead of just, this spinning of all kinds of open-ended loops of what we need to do in our head. So when we get it out on paper, we just then want to prioritize. Prioritize what matters to me the most to get done this week. That's the first P. So once you've kind of let go of what doesn't need to get done and is not important, we then just put in order. Just, take a guess. Prioritize what feels most important to you. And then second of all, we want to plan. And when we plan, this is when we maybe put it actually into our calendar, or just writing it down and writing it in the way that I just explained, where it's already a result that you've created for yourself, where it's already done. And from that plan, I want you to then pick. I want you to actually pick maybe just one or two things that is something that you are going to be committed to completing no matter what. Now, if you get those two done, then perhaps the rest you'll have some time, but maybe not. And if you only get those one or two things done, then you'll be able to have access in your brain to thoughts like, okay, I was able to at least get this done, right? Again, we want to be able to train our brain that we can actually decide on a result we want to create, and that we can follow through on it when the time comes, right? And when the time comes, we're going to have our lower brain in there that will just tell us all the reasons why we should be doing something else. it will be telling us that, no, that'll be too uncomfortable or painful, or that you should just take it easy and relax over here. But we want to actually pick something, choose. We've already prioritized and we made a little plan on when we're going to be doing it. And we want to pick from that plan, what are our non-negotiables? What is the one or two things that you are going to follow all the way through and get done? And if you get to have any more than that, then that's just bonus. Okay, the next two steps in the process, or that start with the letter P, I think are also the game changers, because there's really nothing that I've said up until now that really, is that, earth-shattering or moving from what maybe that you've tried in the past. But these two could be the difference. And the first one is to then pause. Okay? This is where you want to pause and take time to see what your brain is offering you. Now, I just mentioned that when you pick something, it is automatically going to be giving you directions to take it easy and to avoid pain and suffering and just go seek some pleasure in your life instead of doing that hard thing, doing that project that, probably isn't something that's totally fun or something that you'd be most wanting to be doing, because the brain will always do this. But if you pause and you become aware of what your brain is telling you, you will then be so empowered when you notice that it is offering that, because you have the human brain that will, and you in that moment, if you pause, will be more apt to choose to listen to your higher brain, the part where you already planned, the part that you tapped into when you prioritized and planned, right? And when you picked, that was coming from your higher brain because you were using that on purpose. So that pause really can just give you some space. It's like, a deep breath. And in that space is where you might be able to quiet down what is going to keep you from not taking action on the project, so that you can tap into the part that really is committed and knows why you want to finish it and wants to show up for yourself in your life, who wants to be someone who follows through and produces and has this fruitful week, right? Or even just the fruitful day where you can, at the end of the night, have that thought that I completed what I set out to do. And the last one is, again, I might call them all game changers, but I'm just looking to give you a different perspective, a way that maybe you've never looked at it before. And the last P is payment. That I'm not talking payment as in money, but when you prioritize and plan and then pick something and then pause first, and I talked about in the pause how you'll have to override the part of your brain that wants you to just seek pleasure and relax. I want you to think about how you have to pay. You have to pay yourself in order to get to the end result of getting that item on your to-do list completed and finished. And that payment is usually your time, and it's your effort despite not wanting to do it. And that payment may mean that you have to feel terrible. It may mean that you have to feel exhausted. It may mean that you have to feel, embarrassed or vulnerable or fear or just kind of complacent. Or it might mean that you have to feel frustrated or sad or disappointed because there was something else that you wanted to do. But that payment that you're paying with kind of pushing through or allowing or just taking with you the uncomfortable and the harder route, that time that you're giving, that's the payment. But afterwards, if you do it, if you hand over that payment and you get your item and project and your to-do list item finished, what is on the other side of that is so worth it. It feels amazing. It's like you feel like you are just a producing machine, and you have some pride and just success, and just really feeling when you've done something that you set your mind out to, and it wasn't easy, but you didn't give up and you didn't do something else instead. You followed through. You just have integrity with yourself. And on the other side, it is so worth it. But it took the process of prioritizing, planning, picking something on purpose, pausing, and then giving over the payment of going through uncomfortable feelings. Being fruitful in not just in a to-do list example way that I've given you today, but this actually is the process and the way to get to anything that right now you are dreaming big about, any of the change that you want to take place. And this is what I work with my clients with on a deeper level. When you come onto a call with me, we dive deeper into this mind work and action taking and how you have to feel and the process of overcoming negative emotions, which, they don't teach us in school, but it makes all the difference in the world. When I have learned to give my payment of my time and actually action that sometimes feels terrible and sometimes feels super hard and sometimes feels impossible. But when I do it anyway and really keep my focus on the completed result, the end result of whatever, task that I have decided that I wanted to take on, when I look at it as already being done, I can access from there and figure out what it is that I will actually need to feel to get there. Not only what to do to get there, but what to feel to get there. And in order to feel that way, I ask myself, what do I need to think? It always comes back to our thoughts, my friends. And my intention for this podcast was have you thinking about what you are producing in your life and all of how you can become more fruitful and really making your week fruitful in a way of being able to look at your items to be completed as already done, as already a created result. And then if you follow that process of prioritizing, planning, picking, pausing, and payment, you will see your productivity soar. Okay, everybody, that is what I have for you this week. Again, I'm so thrilled that you are here, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Peaceful Mind Podcast. Are you ready to take everything I teach you here and put it to work for your own life? To really learn how to have peace of mind no matter what is happening around you? If so, I'd love to have you as a client. As your coach, this is where you'll get personal and focused time on your own mind using life coaching tools, concepts, and proven life-transforming wisdom, all through a faith-filled lens. To learn more about how we can work together, come on over to danielleteenel.com. There, you'll see how to sign up for a free coaching consult and learn how to get started. Until next time, peace be with you always.